I pray to the divinity. Today's is a continued readings from guidance and insight from the Buddha, the ascetic life of rigorous self-denial, the chapter of the life of the historical Gautama, the Tathagata Buddha. Maha Chulalongkorn University Press, 2017. In the ascetic life of the rigorous self-denial, in the phase of his spiritual quest, Gautama tried another available method of spiritual development: the attempt to willfully master the body and its desires by such things as fasting and holding of the breath for long periods, as they will be seen here and later criticize this. Context. During those times, there were mendicants or sages or individuals who went on to live and search for enlightenment or their spiritual quest. And their methods was all forms of extreme austerities could be classified as asceticism. Note, here it says later he criticized this. In this passage, the Buddha describes how he practiced 4 modes of austere living that were then common and are still practiced by some non-Buddhist Indian ascetics. Context. During those times, the area where Hinduism, Jainism, and Buddhism fall under is Satyanat Dharma, the eternal law of Dharma. Satyanat means eternal, never ending, timeless, and Dharma is the eternal law of causation, of existence. Here it says, Sariputra, I recall having lived a holy life consisting of 4 factors. I have been an ascetic, a supreme ascetic. I have been unkept, supremely unkept. I have been scripturalist, supremely scripturalist. I have been secluded, supremely secluded. Shariputra, my practice of asceticism was such that I went naked, rejecting conventions. Emphasis, context. Jainism and all the monks or the siddhis or the ascetics or the Brahmins were all naked ascetics. They went on stages of becoming naked. First, they would start off with only 3 pieces of clothing, 2 pieces of clothing, 1 piece of clothing, and then they become totally naked. Just like when we were born. The condition of the mind to be ashamed is a human condition. Realistically, we are all born naked and we all go naked, materially and physically. Here it says, rejecting conventions, licking my hands, not coming when asked, not stopping when asked, I did not accept food brought or food, especially made or invented, to a meal. I received nothing from a pot, from a bowl, across a threshold, across a stick, across a pedestal, from two eating together, from a pregnant woman, from a woman giving suck, from a woman giving suck, from a woman who's breastfeeding, and so forth, from a woman lying in the midst of men, from where food was advertised to be distributed, from where a dog was waiting, from where flies were bustling. I accepted no fish or meat. I drank no liquor, wine, or fermented brew. I kept to one house, to one morsel. Basically, he kept to one house, meaning when he went on his alms round, he only went to one specific household, and collecting one morsel of food, and then he was finished. Context: this was before he made one of the baskets of the Vinaya, and before he was even awakened, so he started his conquest, so forth, or his journey. I kept to two houses or two morsels. I kept to three houses or three morsels. I kept to four houses to four morsels. I kept to 5 houses to 5 morsels. I kept to 6 houses to 6 morsels. I kept to 7 houses to 7 morsels. Emphasis on context of this: when we are having lunch or the noontime food, dana, received by the faithful community, it is wise to go ahead and receive from once out of each bowl or each item. But it's up to you, in your discretion. Certain things are viewed as such, but we have to make sure that we analyze our internal aspect as is a part of meditation on food when we're receiving food. So the Buddha said if you went to one house, that was one morsel. Went to 2 houses, 2 morsels, up to so forth. So he would receive only 1 morsel from each house. I lived on food from 1 donor, from 2 donors, from 3 donors, and 4 donors, from 5 to 6, from 7 donors. I took food once a day, once every 2 days, or once every 3 days, once every 4 days, and once every 5 days. 6 days, once every 7 days, thus even up to once every 4th night. I dwelt pursuing the practice of taking food as stated intervals. I was an eater of greens, eater of millets, eater of fried rice, eater of hide partings, of moss, of brown bran, of rice scum, of sesame flour, of grass, of cow dung, the forest roots and fruits, and of fallen fruits. I clothed myself in hemp mixed cloth, in shrouds and refused rags, in tree bark, in antelope hide and stripes of antelope hide, in akusa grass fabric, in bark fabric, in wood shavings of fabric, in the head wool, in animal wool, or in owl's wings. I was one who pulled out the hair and beard, pursuing the practice of pulling out the hair and the beard. I was one who stood continuously, rejecting seats. One who squatted continuously, devoted to maintaining the squatting position. I was one who used a mattress of spikes and made mattress of spikes my bed, while pursuing the practice of ritual bathing in cold water 3 times daily, including in the evening. Thus, in such variety of ways I dwelt pursuing the practice of tormenting and mortifying the body, Sariputra. Such was my practice of asceticism. Sariputra, there my pursuit of being unkempt was such as this was the bowl of tinduka tree accumulating over the years, cakes and flakes off, so too dust and dirt accumulating over the years, caked off my body and flaked off. It never occurred to me, let me rub this dust and dirt off my hand, or let another rub this dust and dirt off with his hand. Sariputra. Such was my practice of being unkept. Sariputra, my practice of scripturelessness was such that I was always mindful in stepping forwards and stepping backwards. I was full of pity in regards to drop of water. Thus, let me not hurt the tiny creatures in the crevices of the ground. Sariputra, such was my practice of scripturelessness. This was rooted in the Jainin practice of ahimsa, non-violence. So every drop of water was recognized, so that he would not hurt any creature, the tiny creatures in the crevices of the ground. Sariputra, my practice of seclusion was such that I would purge into some forest and dwell there. And when I saw a cowherd or a shepherd or someone gathering grass or sticks or a woodman, I would flee from grove to grove, from thicket to thicket, from hollow to hollow, from hillock to hillock. Why was that? So that they would not see me and I should not see them. Sariputra, just as a forest-bred deer, seeing human beings free from the grove to grove, from thicket to thicket, from hollow to hollow, from hillock to hillock. So too, when I saw a cowherd or a shepherd or someone gathering grass or sticks or woodman, I would flee from the grove to grove, from thicket to thicket, from hollow to hollow, from hillock to hillock. Sariputra, such was my practice of seclusion. Sariputra, I went on all fours to the cow pens when the cattle had gone out and the cowherds had left in, and I fed on dung of the young suckling calves. Sariputra, as long as my own excrement and urine lasted, I fed on my own excrement and urine. Sariputra, such was my practice of great distortion in feeding. Sariputra, I purged into some awe-inspiring grove and dwelt there. A grove so awe-inspiring, and normally it would make a man's hair stand up if he were not free from lust. Sariputra, when the cold, windy nights came during the 8th day interval of frost, I would dwell by night in the open and by day in the grove. In the last month of the hot season, I would dwell by day and in the open and by night in the grove. Sariputra, there came to me spontaneously this verse never been heard before. The sage was engaged in searching, being heated and chilled, alone in the awe-inspiring grove, naked, no fire to sit beside. Sariputra, I made my bed in the charnel ground, supported on a skeleton. Sariputra, cowherd boys came up and spat on me, urinated on me, threw dirt at me, poked sticks into my ears. Sariputra, yet I do not recall that I ever aroused an evil mind of hate against them. Sariputra, such was my abiding in equanimity. This could be found in Mahajjhima Nikaya Mahasilananda Sutra. pain in vain. That's interesting to see his practice of asceticism. Now, without the context of those times, knowing that we had Hindus, we had Jainists, and we had Buddhists going on different forms of asceticism to awaken their faculties and so forth, to search for their moksha, liberation, we wouldn't understand that. To the Western's mind, they would read that and say, man, that person has gone insane or abnormal. Because abnormal and normal is also a condition of the mind. Context. It is important to know that Eastern psychology is applied every single day in our daily activities, to be aware of our here and now, to be aware of all what's going on inside by our mental faculties, by our psychological faculties, by our physical and our spiritual. Today was interesting to note that the life of the historical Buddha goes in stages. And for him to be a prince, to go to live that extreme asceticism, would be in modern times like someone that has every single thing that they could dream of, and then just give it away to grope in the dark, per se, without any prescription or any instructions, but knowing that trying to seek away. So I bless the fact that we have this opportunity to study the life of Gautama and have Satanat Dharma in our life, in our practice. So I leave that short reading with you today. I pray to the divinity in you, and to recognize that the divinity in me be awakened fully.